Planned Parenthood mobile clinic. They have set one up just outside the United Center, and they won't just be handing out T-shirts and bumper stickers. They're actually going to be offering free abortion medication, inflatable IUDs, and vasectomies. News Nation's Kelsey Kernstein joining us live outside the United Center with more on this.
So you're going to tell me about the proposition. And so now every time I do a D&C, I'm like, oh, there's love.
You already know.
I'm like, yeah, I can work a leg for you. I'm like, oh, shit. Other people were to hear me, they're like, you are.
When my mother found out that she was pregnant, she's about 18 years old or so, 17, 18, she told the person who had her baby daddy, basically, that she was pregnant. And so he said to her, kill it.
I was actually talking with my wife about this. I was like, what do you think about Kamala Harris and Trump's like, we have no option, to be honest with you. If you're a Christian, we have no option. Both parties actually are not according to the Bible. They're not doing anything. Now, they're using Christianism for their convenience to attract votes. All right, I wanted to do this video technically 2 weeks ago. I didn't have actually enough basis to just start the conversation about abortion, and based on the events of this past weekend, well, we're gonna see it. Planned Parenthood actually is doing something. It's horrific. It is anti-biblical. It is against life, and I just want to expose. I just want to say something that it has to be said, and it has to be told to people to understand that God is about life. God is a God of life. God is a God who promotes life. He came to give his life for us so we can have life. And that's exactly what I want to promote. I want to promote life. I want to promote opportunity. I want to promote a voice for the voiceless. I just want to say something for the people who are supporting this type of atrocity. And I just want to make sure you understand that if you are a Christian and if you are promoting this is something that God doesn't promote at all, and you are against God. Let me just be honest with you. I don't want to condemn, but I'm just here to say something that I haven't thought about. And this is something that God has been putting in my heart more and more, because me and my wife, we have a dream. We have something in our hearts that we want to promote life in a way that if somebody doesn't want to have a kid because it is an inconvenience for them, I want to have a place that I can have for this type of babies that are not wanted, that are just rejected by the parents. And I just want to have opportunities for them and the people who can have kids. And that is why adoption is something important, because if you notice, Christian people, if you're a Christian, if you believe in God, we've been adopted through Jesus Christ to be the son and daughters of God. And now we can have access to the Father because of Jesus Christ. So now that adoption, that spirit of adoption is in us, and we can be whole again through Jesus Christ. Now, why we don't give opportunity to the voiceless, why we don't give opportunity to the innocent. In this case, I'm talking about people who think it's okay to delete their babies once they're in the womb, and then if not knowing that if it's going to be a baby or not, a girl or a boy, why not giving them an opportunity to live? So this is the case that actually happened this past weekend. And as far as I know, 25 abortions done by Planned Parenthood were performed over the past weekend in Kamala Harris's presidential campaign. All right. I'm going to go right here. I'm going to speed up this little guy. All right, it's ready to go. Let's watch it. Let's see what happened. And I just want to expose something that I just want you to stay. It's on X and aka Twitter. And I found this about a few weeks ago. I wanted to do a video about this, but now that I have the opportunity and I have the platform to do this based on what I saw this weekend, now it's time to say it. All right, let's go and watch it.
Planned Parenthood mobile clinic. They have set one up just outside the United Center, and they won't just be handing out T-shirts and bumper stickers. They're actually going to be offering free abortion medication, inflatable IUDs, and vasectomies. News Nation's Kelsey Kernstein joining us live outside the United Center with more on this. The pro-life groups, Kelsey, they're pretty outraged by this show from Planned Parenthood outside.
Hey there, Marnie. Good morning. Yeah, I've spoken to some of these pro-life groups. They tell me they're absolutely furious that Planned Parenthood would have a mobile clinic here during the DNC. Now, right now, I'm in the Union Park area. This is where protesters are going to be in just the next couple of hours. I can see them setting up. But it's interesting. I've gotten on the Planned Parenthood website. I cannot find an address for this mobile clinic. And also, all of the appointments have already been booked up. Now, I do want to go ahead and show you this. So Planned Parenthood Great Rivers, which is based in Missouri, where abortions are banned, writing on X, saying, "Here we come, Chicago. Our mobile clinic will be in the West Loop on August 19th and 20th. Now, this is a neighborhood just minutes from the Democratic National Convention where it's taking place. Going on to read that they will provide free vasectomies and abortion medication. Now, emergency contraception will also be available for free without an appointment. Also, reportedly, Planned Parenthood has said that the mobile clinic demonstrates when states like Illinois work to support rather than restrict access to affordable care. The organization is also hoping to help those patients from surrounding states like, say, Iowa, to help get an abortion where it's been restricted. Marnie?
What's been the response from both sides, really, to this mobile clinic, Kelsey?
Well, the pro-life group really saying that this is demonic that the mobile clinic would be here. They've also said that the Democratic Party is the party of death. Now, we did reach out to one of these groups, and this is Susan B. Anthony, Pro-Life America, writing us this statement, which reads, "The Planned Parenthood DNC abortion bus is confirmation that the party of safe, legal, rare abortion is completely gone."
We find this action taken by Planned Parenthood is just totally disgusting in my eyes. We have so much to work for as a party. We used to be the party that stood up for the little guy, that stood up for the working class, that stood up for the vulnerable. And to see Planned Parenthood taking this action at the DNC is truly disgusting to me.
On the flip side, here's what a Democratic strategist told us about the mobile clinic being near the DNC.
What we're trying to provide Americans, men and women, is the ability to make their own choices about their life and their bodies and their medical care, and not have a politician make that in a back room for them.
Also, really interesting to point out that according to an Associated Press NORC poll from June, 70% of those asked, they believe that abortions should be legal, and that is up from 64% last June. Marnie?
All right, Kelsey, thank you. Thank you.
This is horrible. This is horrible because, just like she said, it's diabolical. It's not from God. And if you are a Christian, you cannot have enough evidence to say that there's something that we can actually say, oh well, this is legal. This we can perform this. God's approving this. What I'm saying is that God gives us a choice to all of us, in for this parties, for a political party to say that you have a choice always. Let me just put it this way: you have the choice. Now, I'm not saying that taking advantage of women, taking advantage of their bodies, taking advantage of something that it's not consent and it's not something done in love, like having, sex between a man and a woman. It's something that is gonna allow me to say that because the baby that is in the mother's womb, it's an inconvenience for me, then I have to take matters into my own hands. It is actually statistically saying that if the man is approving that it's okay for them. I'm besides the point, just saying it. If you're not a relationship that is according to the Bible, then you shouldn't actually be in this situation. Now, if you find yourself in this situation, I'm just gonna ask you to do this: step up as a man and take responsibility for what you've done. And at the same time, you're giving the option and the opportunity for a baby to, first of all, to live, which is actually something that we all should care about. We should actually say this baby has the opportunity, has the choice to live, not because it's an inconvenience for somebody or for anybody, but because God has allowed us to have a choice, and because you had a choice with that person, or you choose to keep it because you want to give life to this baby. Maybe you came given in adoption. I want to be a part of that. I want to be a part of that solution for a lot of people. If you want to want to have the baby or responsibility, or maybe you're too young for that, maybe you have the option for just to give it up an adoption. That's something that it's precious, it's valuable, because a lot of people cannot have babies. A lot of couples cannot have babies yet. I want to have that option for that couple. And I just, based on that, Planned Parenthood actually has been doing bad stuff. And this is something that I just want to show you. And I found on internet. I just want to see that this is something that Kamala Harris is promoting. It's allowing. But at the same time, I just don't want you to see that I'm all Trump. I'm not with a political party. I'll be honest with you. If I have the option to vote, I'm not gonna vote for anybody. I was actually talking with my wife about this. I was like, what do you think about Kamala Harris and Trump? Is like, we have no option. To be honest with you, if you're a Christian, we have no option. Both parties actually are not according to the Bible. They're not doing anything. Now they're using Christianism, and let me just make a statement right here. Both parties are using Christianism for their convenience to attract votes. And there's a proof, and I'm going to pull it out right now, where Kamala Harris pulled a video from Billy Graham. I'm sorry. She pulled a video in this weekend about Billy Graham speaking life, the word of God. And she's, again, both parties, you can see both parties are using this for the convenience. But let's just watch this video so you guys can see where Planned Parenthood is standing right now and why it's so important to not take advice from these people, because they are doing something evil. They are doing the work of... They're doing evil work. Let me just be honest with you. Let me just put it that way. I dislike the idea of deleting people. I dislike the idea of deleting innocent babies. And this is not God. God loves everyone. God wants everyone to have an opportunity to choose him. And the free will, we're always going to have a free will. It's up to you if you want to surrender your free will to God, so he can change the way you think, so he can change the way you move in life. All right, let me just watch this video.
6 months or a year ago, you told me about the competition. And so now every time I do a DNA, I'm like, oh, there's love.
Yeah, you already know.
I'm like, yeah, I can work a leg for you. I'm like, oh, shit. Other people were to hear me, they'd be like, you are
horrible. This is something that is just diabolical, and just thinking that it's so cold and they don't feel anything while they're actually talking about how they proceed and they do this stuff procedures. It just boils my blood, and it just in a way that I can just say how bad we are living these days. And one of the things I can say it is like, promoting even the DNC dyes actually Chicago River to the river red to celebrate abortion. Now, a lot of people are going to say, well, it's just, the color because of the political party. Like, no. There is agendas behind all this stuff. They just want to put it as like, I'm using this because this is our color, the party color. We just want to make sure this is what it is. But if you know the intention, if you know that you're going to make the headlines by doing this stuff, then what are you doing? What are you doing this stuff for? Right? So you guys can see it right here in Chicago, Illinois. Is one of my favorite cities, especially because, back in the 90s, the Chicago Bulls were my favorite team. So I always going to love Chicago. But at the same time, what they're doing right here, promoting, is not what God wants in our lives. And I just want to finish with this before we head out and in this conversation, this podcast. Think about what I'm saying. Think about the stuff that are haven't actually made a concrete argument about this stuff. If you weren't here just because somebody took the decision for you not to be here, and I'm thinking that everybody is thankful that we have life today. I'm thinking everybody's thankful that because of our parents, they allow us to be here, or because of something happened. I actually had a conversation with one of my friends at church. He is, you guys can see it is episode number 9 or 8 with Eric King. He was a person who his dad wanted him to be the leader. He wanted him to lead his baby in his mom's womb because they made a mistake. But because his mom made the choice not to delete the baby.
Sure. I grew up in San Francisco. Well, let me tell you the start. So I was born out of wedlock. When my mother found out that she was pregnant, she's about 18 years old or so, 17, 18. She told the person who had the baby daddy, basically, that she was pregnant. And so he said to her, kill it. And so she decided not to abort me. And I have never laid eyes on my biological father. Never seen him, never talked to him. I've seen one picture of him, but I've never seen him. So I was raised by my mother. My mother married maybe 4 or 5 times. My sister knows the exact number, but we were raised by her, and she married, some men every once in a while. And
I can tell you that he is one of the most loving people I know. He's one of the most loving and supporting people that I know. I received text messages from him saying, "Hey, keep on going. God is with you. Keep on praying." And he's a very smart man. He has a great job. He has 3 boys. His wife, so many years. I think they're over like 20 something years of marriage. And I can look up his life, and I can look up the way God has been working in his life. He's been giving too much to the community because of the love of God in his life. And he recognized if it wasn't for his mom, he couldn't been here. If it wasn't for the decision to say, I'm going to give him a choice to live, I'm going to give him an opportunity to live, there's this way that we can say that God uses our pain, and God uses the ways that probably people say this is death, this is the walk of death, this is something that you shouldn't be at. Yet when we surrender our will to God, he's going to take care of the rest. When we surrender our initiative, when we surrender the things that we cannot control of, because we make mistakes, we all make mistakes, but we made mistakes that actually going to cost people's lives, this is something that you shouldn't be playing with, because first of all, you are not God. And if God wants us dead, all of us right now, it's because he's God and because he wants to. Let me just be honest with you. Now, I'm not saying the guy's going to kill us. I'm not saying the guy's going to do this right now. But what I'm saying is that you cannot play God. And that's exactly what we're doing right now. In this time, we are playing to be God. And I just want to finish with this. We don't have a truly relationship. This is actually the issue with a lot of people, and the issue that we see right now in political parties using the name of Christianity for their own will, for their own agenda, for their own pockets. And that's why I don't put anybody in my position to say this is my vote for the president. And this is exactly why I'm calling everybody, every single Christian, to think about this stuff. Make sure you understand that every single person has their own agenda, especially if they don't know Jesus. Especially if they don't know God, but they're using us. They're using you. They're using you to make sure the political party they represent it's on the top. They're using you to make sure that they can tell you lies and probably not fulfill their promises. And we all know this. We are literally just walking on water, yet we don't see Jesus because we don't want him in this equation. We take God out of the equation, and then God's plans, God's life, God's blessing, it's not on us. And then we see ourselves in trouble. And that's why we have this type of outcomes. Let me just be honest with you. So when we don't have a truly relationship with God, then everything around us creates chaos and it becomes a burden. Marriage, kids, family, work, people, and that's a clear sign that we don't trust God in the little things. Where's my sound? And if you find yourself battling with this idea, and maybe you have a decision to make, if you're not trusting God, probably because somebody took advantage of you in the product of this sin. Let me just be honest and true, put it that way. The product of this sin, it's a baby in your womb. The answer is not for you to take this baby's life. He has no say so in what happened. And I understand probably you are hurt. Probably you are going through something. It's a painful time, but there is life. There is an opportunity for us, for me, for you, for everybody who's watching this, for everybody who's listening to this, that God has everything under control. Like, once you give it your pain, once you give him what you're carrying on. And I've just put that in my life. You know, sometimes it's hard to remember that I have 5 girls, and they're a blessing for me. I like I said, one day I didn't wake up thinking, oh, I want to be a dad. I want to have 5 little girls. But I can tell you this. This is the day that I can just say, I was just sitting down the other day. I'm sorry. But I was sitting down the other day and I was just looking at him. I have 2 7-year-old. I have a 1 5-year-old, and I have 2 1-year-old. And I was watching them play, and I just sit down in the little step stool that I have in the kitchen so they can reach, for snacks and stuff like that. And while I was watching them play, I started actually just weeping and I started crying because I cannot be thankful enough with God, with their lives and the joy that they are. And my wife was reminding me, there's a statistic and there's a saying that if you don't hear noise in your house, then your house is dead. So maybe this baby is not something that is going to create disturbance in your life. Maybe this decision that you're trying to make for your baby or for a human being who has no say-so in this equation, you're making them not to have this as say-so in this equation is because you have evil in your heart. I invite you to seek in your heart and say, am I trusting God in what I'm going through? Even though God did not intend for you to have this pain in your life, did not intend for this person to take advantage of you, did not intend for you to go through this stuff. Maybe this is the opportunity for you to say, I want to have God, and I want to hear what God has to say about this. And again, we don't have a true relationship with God because we don't trust him in the little things. We don't trust him in the little things. And if you're going through this thing right now, this is not just a little thing. This is a big thing. This is a life and death situation. And I just invite you to think about it, seek in your heart, and just remember what C.S. Lewis said: the more we seek to do good, the more we understand how evil we are. And this is something that we can see right now. Every political party, I'm not saying just on one side, every single political party, there's corruption, there's ungodliness, there's stuff that are not aligned to the Bible, and yet they use the Bible and they use God for their purposes. Think about it. I just want to leave you with this. Like this video, subscribe, hit the notification button, hit the like button. We'll see you next time. God bless you, and bye.